You know, the modern world we all live in, it's really built on a foundation of these incredible, transformative ideas. And a lot of them came from right here in America. We're not just talking about gadgets. These are inventions that literally rebuilt our reality, often in ways we don't even notice anymore. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain. But first, just imagine for a second, what if all of these foundational inventions just disappeared? Poof, gone. What would you actually lose?
Well, right away, you couldn't call a friend. You couldn't use your phone to navigate across town. All the food in your fridge would start to spoil. When the sun went down, the lights would go out. Online shopping would just stop existing. And forget about working from home. It's crazy, right? Our lives are this complex web, all woven together by these technologies. So let's unravel how they got built.
Okay, so let's start with what is arguably the biggest change of them all, how we completely collapsed distance and time. This is the story of how we went from being separated by huge physical distances to being connected in one big global conversation.
And it really happened in three massive leaps. First, way back in 1876, you've got Alexander Graham Bell's telephone. All of a sudden, our voices could travel instantly, which was a huge deal compared to waiting weeks for a letter. Then, about a century later, the internet came along. And believe it or not, it actually started as a US defense project. The idea was to create a network that could survive an attack. And what it ended up doing was connecting all of our information. And then finally, in the 2000s, the smartphone arrived and just merged everything into one single device.
You can really see the progression, can't you? Step 1, connect the voices. The telephone basically built the highway for real-time connection. Step 2, connect the data. The internet used that same highway system to send information. And step 3, the smartphone, pioneered by American tech companies, took that entire history of connection and put it right in the palm of your hand. Each step was a total revolution built right on top of the last one.
But, connection isn't just about bits and bytes. A series of unbelievable inventions also totally changed our relationship with physical space. They literally made the world feel smaller. This happened both on the ground and way up in the air. You had the Wright Brothers taking flight in 1903. Just a decade later, Henry Ford made the car something a regular family could actually own. And then, by the 1990s, a military project called GPS gave us a perfect map of the entire planet.
And the impact was just staggering. I mean, before the airplane, crossing the Atlantic Ocean was a journey that took weeks on a ship. The Wright Brothers' invention shrank that same exact trip down to just a matter of hours. This didn't just make travel faster, it created the very idea of global tourism and super-fast international commerce.
The car did the same thing for our personal lives. Before Henry Ford made them affordable, your life was pretty much confined to where you could walk or maybe take a train. The automobile gave people this incredible personal freedom of movement, and that led directly to the creation of the suburbs and the whole commuting culture that defines so much of modern life today.
And then there's GPS. Talk about an invisible utility running our modern world. It started out as military tech, but now it's the backbone of everything. We're talking global shipping, precision farming, and it powers countless apps on your phone that you probably use every single day without even giving it a second thought.
And that theme of an invisible, world-changing utility, well, it doesn't just apply to how we get around the globe. It's just as true for the revolutions that happen inside our own homes. Inventions that freed up the one resource we can never get more of, our time.
For almost all of human history, life pretty much stopped when the sun went down. Thomas Edison's practical light bulb completely changed that. It gave us a safe, reliable way to just push back the darkness, effectively making the day longer, and making our homes and our cities usable and safe long after dark.
Refrigeration. I know, it sounds so mundane, right? But it completely changed our relationship with food. Before the electric fridge, food spoiled incredibly fast. They had to shop almost every day, and getting sick from food was a constant risk. This one appliance revolutionized food safety, it changed our diets, and it literally created the modern supermarket.
And the modern washing machine, it didn't just automate a chore. It automated hours and hours of back-breaking physical labor. By freeing people, and let's be honest, overwhelmingly women, from this task, it did way more than just clean clothes. It was a key piece of technology that helped kickstart massive shifts in domestic and social roles.
All right, for our last piece here, let's look at how we work and how we shop. Because the very systems that our economy runs on, from the factory floor to the online checkout, are themselves pretty radical inventions.
This revolution really starts with the assembly line. See, Henry Ford's true genius wasn't just the car itself, but the system he came up with to build it. This whole process, where a worker masters one single task as the product moves past them, completely rewrote the rules of manufacturing.
And the results? They were absolutely transformative. The time it took to build a car just collapsed from weeks down to a few hours. The cost plummeted from a luxury price tag to something a normal family could actually afford. This system created a whole new model for specialized labor, and it became the blueprint for how to be efficient for the next 100 years.
A similar kind of democratization happened with computing. Mainframes used to be these giant, room-sized machines locked away in universities and big corporations. But the personal computer, pushed into the mainstream by companies like Apple and Microsoft, put all that power on every single desk, transforming how all of us create, learn, and manage information.
And hey, even the way we buy things was an invention. The credit card fundamentally separated the act of buying something from the act of actually paying for it. That simple financial tool was revolutionary. It created modern consumer culture and paved the entire way for the world of e-commerce.
So when you pull it all together, when you step back and look at the big picture, it's so clear that these weren't just new gadgets, they were world builders. They completely remade how we talk to each other, how we move around, how we live our lives at home, and how we work and shop. They are the invisible architecture of our daily lives. Which, of course, leaves us with one final and I think crucial question. We know that the telephone and the personal computer built our world. So what technologies being developed right now, in AI or genetic engineering or new energy sources, what is being built that's quietly creating the world of tomorrow? What will the next generation simply take for granted?